Valley Truthers. It's been a while since I've responded to a social media post. Well, one sparked my interest on what coaches are paid that coach with their child on the team or a team. So I'm gonna go a few steps further. I'm gonna talk about coaches' pay when coaches coach the same club their child is playing in. Coaches pay when coaches are coaching, but their child plays on another team inside the club. And finally, coaches pay when coaches are coaching club, period. So, of course, I'm going to read the post first. Then I will read some of the responses. Afterwards, I will add my own thoughts on the matter. Now, keeping in mind that this is the perspective of a parent coach, as I am not and have never been a director or the owner of a club. As we get into this conversation, we can't help but to look back at the history of sports and establish the understanding of how far away we have gotten from sports being about having fun and actually learning how to play the sport to becoming a business of money, fame, and of course, an educational opportunity. So once we openly acknowledge and accept and embrace that reality, we can kind of move forward with this conversation. In a lot of these conversations, the numbers for what coaches get paid are super low and is actually absurd and outrageous. This is the actual post from the social media post. It says, how much do coaches and assistant coaches make on average? Has anyone here exchanged their time towards their own child's club dues? Somebody responded with, our club has coaches that do that. We apply the pay directly to their child's account. Most of the time, they still owe money at the end, though. Another person said, I coach and my daughters play. So she has more than one daughter that actually plays. They take my daughter's payment out monthly. Then I get a little more. We live about 40 minutes from our facility, so it ends up covering gas. That's about it after I pay their dues. Another lady says, yes, my husband and I both coach. In all but one club over the last 10 years, just one of our coaches' stipends was enough to cover our kids' fees. Again, this is another person, and her husband coaches, and they have more than one kid playing. That one club, the pay was so low that it only covered half of her fees. Another lady says, yes, this past season I coached 2 teams, my 15s as planned, and then took on a 12-3 team because I had seen all of the young kids at tryouts pushed out of the door, so she took on an additional team. So we put my stepdaughter on my 12-3s team to make traveling / practices easier. We didn't owe any club dues, but I didn't get paid for coaching the 12s either. I got paid for my 15s plus the extra stuff I do for the club. Another lady says, my husband and I own a club, and we had 2 coaches that did this for their daughters. Club dues were covered in exchange for their coaching, which most times that is what happens. And then another lady who was actually referring to something that I said, which I said is just never enough. She says every coach and the club owner's experience will be different. You seem to have a serious grudge against someone or some club that you are venting about in this Facebook page. It's not the time or a place to do such things. That's what she said. Another lady said the fees are very low. I don't even question the pay, and our fees are over $5,000. So the fees in the club are over $5,000, which I can totally understand. Keep in mind, coaching involves so much more than what you see on the court. Absolutely. Another lady says, at our club, we practice 2 times a week for 2 hours and generally attend at least 2 tournaments a month, but usually more like 3 to 4, January, February, March, and April. If I figure 2 tournaments, 2 days at 9 hours each, I make $7 an hour. Oh my gosh, it's not worth it. I don't do it for the pay. Exactly. Another lady stated, wow, this is pretty low at my club. Our coaches make $25 to $33 an hour. Another lady says, the fees in the club aren't bad. It depends on the age, but it's between $700 and $900. We do struggle to maintain coaches. Of course, at $700 to $900, I'm assured that you do struggle to maintain coaches. The coaches that stick around are not there for the money, surely. I would question whether or not that's a nonprofit. This one lady says, I coached my daughter and they didn't pay me. They covered her fees, and then for travel, they reimbursed me for hotel, gas, and food. Great coaches should be paid their weight in gold. That's what another lady said, and that is very true. Another lady said, if you are looking to coach in exchange for fees, it would be a question for your club. Bookkeeping by the club has to align. On the end, it's all about taxes. It's a good statement. Then this one lady says, depends on the size of the club. One club my daughter coached for paid $150 a month. Oh, the other was significantly more. Plus, they gave them lots of gear and shoes and great per diem for tournaments. Another lady yet said, I coach and I still have to pay the same amount for my daughter to play that I coach. No change in club fees. I come out slightly on top. Pay varies around the country though. The coaches make 20 to 25 an hour. I saw on Indeed. I think it varies by clubs and states because my daughter's old club charged $500 to $1,000 per tournament, including coaches, hotels, rental cars, airfare, food on top of the hotel fees. For families and players, travel fees, gas, parking, plane, and club tuition. It was like $15,000 per year, and even more this year with 2 qualifiers to fly to and flying to nationals in Chicago. It stated that we were paying for the coach's hotel, gas, food, and travel, car rental, car or plane, and her new club only charged $200 per tournament. But it was a corporation that pays their coaches. In a lot of these conversations, the numbers for what coaches get paid are super low. It is absolutely absurd and outrageous, especially with the level of expectation by parents or club standards, coaches, directors, and the costs that parents have to pay. So the truth is, club coaches do not get paid anywhere near enough. Most clubs claim to have an evaluation or rate of pay system, but not sure how that system is set up or in place. How are coaches evaluated? I have no earthly idea. So are directors basing it off of the coach's ability to get the team to nationals and then how well they do at nationals? Is that really a growth scale? I don't know. To answer the question though, the spectrum could actually range anywhere from where I know a team that is nonprofit or voluntary, which means that the parent is still left paying all of the same dues and travel costs as all the other parents on that said team, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where another club I know pays for coaches, the players' dues, the coaches' hotels, travel stipend, and practice time fees, just like this other lady. But I'm not sure if even the directors are looking at all of the out-of-pocket expenses that travel coaches are incurring when traveling. So here's what the Volley Truth came up with. We are sure that we still left out some things because we actually have a daughter that plays. We had an older daughter that played as well. I didn't travel coach this year, but we could give you the broad range of what the lowest is in this area versus what the highest is in this area, which is probably about like the range of every other region. But you know, the coaches pay, it'll never equate. It just will not ever equate. To wrap up this episode, as for the parent that asked if I were upset about the question being asked, to that I say absolutely not. I was not at all upset, but I want to make it clear and very clear that this is a very common question asked every club season to include every school season. And trust me, the coaches are not paid enough. I want to make that very clear. We are talking between free and the cost of one player's dues. Yeah, that's like not hardly enough. Now, don't get me wrong. There are those coaches that are simply not qualified. And club directors, hello, really need to evaluate those circumstances, because we as parents are talking about a lot of money and time. So trust, I'm not letting those coaches off the hook. But all in all, I'm not sure if you are asking because you are interested in throwing your hat in the ring of coaching, or if you feel that you as a family paid too much into your daughter's club season and didn't get enough out of the coach you had. But either way, he or she more than likely did not get paid enough. And the truth is, I'm not even sure if advanced coach training is offered in most clubs, which it should be. I have only been in 1 or 2 clubs that offered to pay at minimum half the cost of coach training to attend it. It's rough out here in these volleyball streets. So until next time. That's all for now, but if you like the content, leave a comment below, spike the like button, and subscribe to my channel.